Speaking of the White House, there are new questions surrounding the Secret Service quickly wrapping its investigation into that cocaine found at the White House earlier this month with no suspects. And now critics are accusing the press of being, quote, happy to stop sniffing around, despite at least one longtime journalist, Susan Katz-Keating, reporting that White House officials know who handled the cocaine, but the Secret Service is towing the line. Joining us now to react to the coverage is Kimberley Strassel, columnist for the Wall Street Journal. Kimberley, thanks for being with us.
You bet. It's so great to be here.
Yeah, it's so good to have you. You're also the author of the brand new book, The Biden Malaise, How America Bounces Back from Joe Biden's Dismal Repeat of the Jimmy Carter Years. And I want to get to that book in a second, too, but let's start with the cocaine here. What's your gut check on this one, Kimberley? Does the White House cocaine story seem like a cover-up to you, or is it truly a case of too many potential suspects and not enough physical evidence?
I think it's one of two things, neither which is good, and that's the problem. Either it's a cover-up or it's incredible ineptitude. And I think that the latter is what has actually caused a lot of outrage in Washington, which is, okay, you close it after just a few days. You need an explanation of why you haven't found who this person is. Where are the security cameras? Why is there no record of who uses these cubbies? Explain to us a little bit more about the process of using them. Why was the key missing? How long did that happen? Why was there really no fingerprints on the bag, no DNA? I mean, it's just, I think it was partly just that they said, we don't have anyone, case closed. No, we need a better explanation because this is the White House. And if we have that kind of a security lapse, that's a problem. You should have to explain how this happened.
Exactly. To your point, the question I keep asking myself is about the cameras. You're telling me there's not cameras at every angle in that West Wing. It doesn't make sense to me. As I mentioned off the top, Susan Katz-Keating has reported that two sources told her the White House has known who was responsible here, that the Secret Service did, in fact, get a hit on those fingerprints. Let's say that reporting is true. How consequential is that? And can you recall an instance where the Secret Service has lied to the American people before?
Not that brazenly. And it's hugely consequential because you have to think about why that would happen as well, too. I know that there has been, thoughts that maybe this has something to do with Hunter Biden. Who knows? But I think, look, the bigger issue is that if anybody who works in the West Wing, people who are making life and death decisions, holding the most consequential posts in the country, the notion that they are using cocaine is hugely problematic. That would also be the reason likely that the Secret Service is not telling us. But we need to have confidence that law enforcement agencies, no matter who they're guarding, are actually also accountable to the rest of the people. And this would be an enormous black eye on the Secret Service if that turned out to be the case.
Yeah. And one more quick question on this before, because I do want to hit on your book. Is there any hesitancy from the press to dig in more on this story? And if so, what? How have you seen that play out?
Oh, I think the press has been terrible on this, mostly from the start. I mean, don't forget that even at the very beginning of this, everyone was immediately reporting that it was found in a highly trafficked area where tons of tourists were going all the time, only to later have to backtrack and acknowledge that it was in a different part of the White House that fewer people have access to. Usually when White House officials are giving the runaround that we've received out of some of these top officials, there'd be a lot more pushback. Nobody seems to want to follow this up.
And last question for you with about 30 seconds left, Kimberley. In your new book, you argue there are strong parallels between the Biden and Carter presidencies. What are those similarities?
Well, things like inflation, obviously, energy, foreign policy debacles. Both presidents had a border crisis problem, crime. But I also argue in the book, and that's fun, I think it's important, that this is a little unfair to Jimmy Carter because the way we got to those bad places are very different in terms of Biden's mishandling and Carter's. Carter's inherited a lot of his problems and had a lot of ineptitude. The Biden situation was much more deliberate and concerning from a policy perspective.
Well, Kimberley Strassel, thank you so much. Your new book, The Biden Malaise, How America Bounces Back from Joe Biden's Dismal Repeat of the Jimmy Carter Years. You can get that as well. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.